What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to revisit the idea of which Justice League members are dying in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The game comes out in less than a month. It's time to do some final predictions and have just our, final last couple talks, on this game before everybody gets to experience it, for better or for worse, no matter how this game turns out. So the reason I say, bring it up again, I think a few years ago I've talked about this topic, but obviously many things have changed. And now here's the deal. I saw one particular thing with that original leak that came out. Now it's been addressed and revised and edited, and I'd never read Miller Ross's newest expose on what's supposed to happen, so I'm still generally in the dark. And I just wanted to say that out loud, just so everybody kind of knows where I'm at with the knowledge I have right on what happens with the game. So here's what I want to do first. Let's talk about generalities, right? Should Justice League members die or not? And then we'll get into more kind of specific predictions. The answer is yes. The answer has been yes. I don't think since the beginning. I think when this game first came out, and you could probably find it, I did a video where I talked about I don't want any of these people dying. And I still generally don't want any Justice League members to die, and we'll talk about why in a little bit as the video goes on. But really, after maybe the first couple months, maybe a year or so, I really got into the mindset of, okay, no. Even though I don't want them to die, some of them still have to. And I would say even right now, I don't want them to die, mainly because of the future. Now, in my controversial opinion, I almost have to get out of my own head with that one, right? I think the way I want to describe this, you need to do what's best for the story in this game. That's what I truly believe. And so what I mean by that is if you kill off two or so of these Justice League members, say you kill off a Green Lantern and a Flash or something, right? Or maybe a Wonder Woman. If you kill them, you have to do it for this story. You shouldn't be so concerned about where this goes in the future. Now, I understand how that's controversial, because you could say, well, Alex, they are setting up potentially, right? You have a Justice League. You have Batman. You have everybody there. So why not just make a Justice League game after? I guess I would counter with, well, it doesn't have to be this group. Even if literally the next game Rocksteady makes is a Justice League game, why can't they just make new iterations of the character? They literally have made then Superman in a game, so why not just do a different Superman in a different game and just, and now you can play as him, right? I don't think it's that big of a deal. You could also argue, right, you can even go back to the very first plot leak of this game that was on Reddit, right, and people said, in fact, a developer of Rocksteady said it was fake, that maybe it was going to be a Flashpoint thing, right? So maybe everybody would die, and then Flash would kind of, reset timelines, and they'd all be back, or you'd play as different versions. So if you did a Justice League game, right, for the next game, it'd be a multiverse kind of thing of those Justice League members. And I think you can do that. I don't, and like I said, my main point, at least for this video, not to get too deep into it, is just you can't be afraid to kill off these people in this game because you're worried about the games that follow. You can do different universes. You can literally just, and I mean different universes as in a multiverse of the Arkhamverse. Or you could literally just do a different universe, like the Wonder Woman game from Monolith, right? It's just flat out different. It's just not the same. Gotham Knights is literally just not the same universe, right? So that's kind of what I mean by that. You could literally just do that. You don't have to be that afraid of it. You have to serve the story, and I do think when you title a game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, look, what they've already set up, and I said that, and this is not spoilers or anything, breaking NDAs from the closed test. In the Poison Ivy thing that they showed, it's very clear her toxins are the key to the whole thing. I'm going to just say that as my prediction, but I'm very confident. I do think they're going to get, unbrainwashed. And, again, you think to the Flashpoint thing, is that a way you could solve it? Yes. But again, a former, I believe, Rocksteady dev said that's not true. So, okay, well, is the Flashpoint thing not true, or is the other things that were in that leak not true? You don't really know. But now you have Poison Ivy, so you could probably get rid of Brainiac's, brainwashing through that. Okay, well, do you have to kill any of them? I still think you kind of do. Now, in terms of official predictions, I said it earlier is kind of just a casual thing. I think you got to eliminate at least a couple. Couple meaning, two, right? So, Wonder Woman is tough, and Wonder Woman I would almost say should possibly go. And I'll tell you why. she is the ally in this case. Now, could she be eventually brought into Brainiac's side? Maybe, but we haven't ever seen that through any of like the official means, right? So I don't know if that happens. So she, to me, could be some sort of sacrifice, right? Where she sacrifices herself to save maybe one of the Justice League members or to save one of us, one of the Suicide Squad members. And the reason I would specifically bring Wonder Woman in, and this could be too far and I could be reaching, could be because of Wonder Woman, the game. Right? And so, I just said it, right? You can have different universes. So this Wonder Woman doesn't have to make it. And like I said, I guess none of them have to make it, but you literally have a Wonder Woman game coming. Now, does that make this Wonder Woman more expendable? Well, does Rocksteady care that Monolith is making, right? So, like, I guess I'm looking at it from the landscape of all these games coming out and what could come out. Does Rocksteady care? No. And so, again, I get that, right? So, again, like, you have to do what's best for your own story. So maybe like a sacrificial thing. I know many people had said that about Batman, right? So to me, it depends on, well, number one, just what happens. Again, I saw the early leak, but then things have been, amended and all that stuff. So I have no idea, on God's earth, what happens to Batman. It makes sense for him to have some sort of sacrificial role. I'll say that, and I'm genuinely serious here. I didn't read Miller Ross's thing. I don't know what actually happens in this game. It does make sense for Batman to go. And not because of Kevin Conroy, right? Like, that makes it infinitely harder to continue Batman in this universe going forward. But that's something, again, that's kind of outside of the game. And I will be honest, like, again, when you're making this game, you shouldn't have to think about that. You shouldn't be thinking about that. And, whether they knew or didn't know that Kevin was sick or whatever, right, when he was recording lines, like, maybe does that play a part? Possibly. But ultimately, I think it's got to be the character itself. So Batman being the longest in this universe, already being like dead and then, coming back, right? Just going into hiding or whatever. I think it makes sense. He definitely makes sense as a sacrificial thing. But I'll be honest with you, for me, I think Green Lantern is kind of an easy like scapegoat where he's cool. I mean, a Green Lantern game would be freaking awesome, right? And even playing as Green Lantern in a Justice League game would be awesome. Again, you don't have to worry about that. You can get a different Green Lantern in it, right? But I think he makes sense just because he's a more outskirts kind of thing. I guess what I'm going for is I think somebody that's on the outside like that. Now, there's really nobody else like that. Like, Flash will probably be bigger in this game than Green Lantern. You imagine somebody like Wonder Woman. You imagine Batman. Maybe Superman is the only other one where, obviously, Superman's gigantic. And I think if you had a poll, I don't know, would people want to play a Superman game over a Green Lantern game? Probably. But when you think of Superman, at least in this game, I doubt he can be in it all that much, right? Because, like, he's so powerful that it should be a one and done kind of thing. It'll probably be like a 2-time encounter where maybe he whoops you and, the brink of death, and then you fix the problem. I think it'll be like a Green Lantern will go, and then I think it's one of the core group. Wonder Woman, again, makes sense as somebody who's not brainwashed, but then if you're looking at somebody that actually is brainwashed, I think, a Batman makes it. Superman would be wild. Like, that would be absolutely crazy if that happened. And so maybe you could do that, but I think two have to go. The rest can stay. It doesn't really matter in terms of what you do in the future. It matters in the moment. It matters to this game, but it doesn't matter about reusing them for future games. You can literally reuse a Wonder Woman, but just do a different Wonder Woman, hence literally what we're getting, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.